2,626,418. According to the Center for Disease Control, that is the number of people who died in the United States in 2014. Globally, 5.9 million children under the age of 5 died in 2015. Interpreted differently, that's more than 16,000 deaths each day, according to the World Health Organization. These numbers are astounding, but look past them, and what can you see? Perhaps each person left behind, every grieving parent, each and every moment mourning the loss of a loved one. Grief is indiscriminate, affecting all ages, races, and genders. In some cultures, close relatives are expected to shave their heads, wear a specific color of clothing, and express grief for a customary minimum period of time. In other cultures, mourning involves a lot of drinking and dancing. And in certain cases, people within particular kinship positions are expected to marry the spouse of the deceased. But what happens when the pomp and circumstance are over? When people have said their farewells and helped celebrate the deceased person's life? And how long should the grieving process take in the modern day? Think about this. On average, companies provide just 3 paid days off for bereavement. According to the National Institute of Health, bereavement is the period of grief and mourning after a death. When you grieve, it's part of the normal process of reacting to a loss. You may experience grief as a mental, physical, social, or emotional reaction. Mental reactions can include anger, guilt, anxiety, sadness, and despair. Physical reactions can include trouble sleeping, changes in appetite, physical ailments, and illness. Grief is unique to each individual, and everyone operates on their own timeline. It is a normal and necessary reaction. A person needs to acknowledge the death of a loved one, including pets. And there are many ways to cope. It will vary for each individual, but it is important to identify and express your feelings to do so. Discussions not only assist you in your journey, but help honor the memory of the deceased. Everyone will eventually die, and it's very likely someone you love might before you do, if they haven't already. It's such a common and tragic life happenstance, yet the bereaved are often ignored or shut out. People tend to avoid them, neglect invitations, or stay silent when they enter the room. Those grieving can feel isolated, when a sense of community may be what they need most. Why is this? Perhaps many people just don't know what to say when a friend or coworker has lost someone, so they say nothing at all. Even something simple like a common greeting. Hey, how are you? It can be difficult if you think it might open the floodgates to tears, so we remain silent. Let's not be that person. Help those in your life with the following tips provided by Hospice of the Western Reserve. Do say, "This must be a hard time for you. Would you like to talk about it? It must have been difficult to watch your suffering. Expressing your tears and your pain will eventually help you feel better. It must be hard to understand why these things happen. Sometimes things just aren't fair." Avoid saying, "I understand how you feel. It's God's will. It was for the best." You must forget this experience and move on. You should count your blessings. Don't worry, you'll learn to cope. Our word choice is incredibly important. What we do or do not say can make a great difference in a person's day. Let us remember to be compassionate. The world is in need of compassionate, caring people, especially during the challenging time of a loss. Talking about death is not an easy topic. It can be scary, it can make you sad or angry. There are plenty of negatives. But one expert who has worked in bereavement for over 15 years, currently the director of the Bereavement Center at Hospice Reserve, Diane Snyder-Cohen says what she likes about her job is how she sees people transform and grow after a loss, calling it a beautiful thing. She's seen relationships rekindled, people going back to school, fighting for laws to change, saying it's transformative, and people grow. After a loss, many people want to give back, so they begin volunteering. They might like the feeling of helping others, the ability to connect, or being a part of something worthwhile. The reason behind the existence of Because I Said I Would is due to a death. The way in which the founder decided to honor his father's life was starting a movement based on his father's greatest quality, being a person of his word. Raymond Moody published Life After Life, a book that coined the term near-death experience, NDE, to describe this hard-to-define phenomenon. Moody interviewed 150 near-death patients who reported vivid experiences. He found that those who had undergone NDEs became more altruistic, less materialistic, and more loving. This too can happen with people who have lost someone they love, as they take the time to reflect on what their life priorities are and realize just how fragile and precious their time on Earth can be. If you take anything from this video, remember the following 4 statements about grief, according to Diane Snyder-Cohen. It is normal. It is unique. There is no calendar, and there are no stages. Perhaps the statement, "there is no calendar," may be surprising. You will never get back the person who died, but the memories last a lifetime. Time helps to heal, but it's okay to cry or not to cry 5 minutes, 5 days, or 50 years after losing someone you love. Grieving is different for each and every person. There are many resources available for people who are struggling with a loss. There's a lot of uncertainty in life, but one truth is that we have a last breath. How will you honor the person that you've lost? How would you want to be honored after you're gone? And what is it that you want to be remembered by?